What's up, everyone? Today we have a just mulcher and side discharge mower. Pretty standard, pretty heavy duty though. It's kind of shocking. Well, it's the first week of December, so mowers aren't exactly a hot commodity right now. So, but saying that, this is pretty heavy duty. It has a Briggs and Stratton on it. This one might just be I maintain like this little area behind my house. It's not even like an easement, it's just something random. No one else is there to maintain it. I got tired of looking at tall grass, so in the springtime I take my big brush eater and just level it, and I'll maybe use this for the maintenance portion of it, just kind of put a box or tarp or something over it. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is this mower only starts with ether. Now, I've noticed some funkery going on here. That's usually not safe, one thing, but not good to see. This is like a straw or wire, or I don't know. Anyway, I'll cut that off. Apparently the wire is frozen or completely broken. I mean, the cable itself looks fine. It just goes all the way through there. Maybe we can get this moving again. Maybe we can't. The problem is, if it gets too rusty, these individual strands will start to break, and then they'll just wedge themselves in there, and you won't be able to move it. So, I don't really give that too much of a high likelihood of coming back, but who knows. But the ether part, we could probably definitely work. I didn't even try it because the guy that gave this to me, I've worked with for quite a long time, and he's a pretty decent guy, so I don't do this too often, but I'll take him for his word on that. Now, where there's one funkery, there's other funkeries. He did say that he had this welded together. That's a fairly common thing to do. It's not really any rust. The wheels they're not bent like a lowrider, so that's good. So I think this is a fairly nothing mower. Just gets grass cut, nothing more. If we do have to replace the cable, it's just one of these T-type that fits in that little slot. I don't really like those. I might have to find a different bail handle, or maybe a different handle in general, because it's already welded. But we're going down a different road we don't need to go down. Let's go ahead and take off that carburetor and see why exactly this is happening. I'm pretty sure it's a bowl seal, or this primer bulb isn't exactly, oh, you can't see it. This primer bulb isn't exactly a spring chicken. It's not horrible now. Well, let's get to work. Suppose we should check this gas. There's no gas. Well, I guess that's kind of nice. Means we don't need a pair of vice grips to clip off the fuel line from exploding everywhere. Wow, that doesn't usually happen that way. Those were in there. That one was in there. Put off to the side. Yeah, that carburetor is disgusting. I could just look down the throat, dude. You can see that color. So that's probably our reason right there. Luckily I have the ultrasonic cleaner started. Oops. Pull this off. Probably a little fuel gonna come out. Alright, let's just grab a cup. Now this cup has a little bit of 100% fuel in there, so if it has any water, you'll be able to see it. Water would also cause something very similar. And for a tank that was empty, there's a lot of gas in there. Well, the good news is I don't see any water. But the bad news is I still need to clip this or make it so it's not going to be leaking everywhere. So let's get a pair of these vice grips. There we go. Now, I have those 5/16 are in there pretty hard. I wonder if these are going to do the same thing. Nope. That's good. So, I've seen a few of these happen. When you're taking it out, press down on the butterfly as much as you can and then slowly just twist it out of the linkage. If you do that, it shouldn't break it. It is plastic, so they're not exactly the most hard of materials. Kind of brushed it off a bit, so we're not getting ourselves insanely dirty. I emptied out the cup. There's still dirt in there, but let's just see what comes out of here. Wow, this is really on there. Man, that's just killing my hands. We might just have to get the impact out on this one. Who would guess you need an impact driver to take out a bowl nut? I was a tad worried I was just going to break off in there, but I have others, so I wasn't too concerned. That is plug solid. Maybe this guy is confused for started with either ether in 2011. Yeah, that's a whole lot of garbage. Yeah, that's disgusting. I was even thinking to myself, maybe I'll be lucky on this one. I don't even have to do much except for maybe changing the, or cleaning out the bowl nut a little bit, or the gasket. Nope. Not in the cards today. Oh, Whoa there. A good sign that's a hard one to come out. Joke in there. That old gasket is petrified. No coming home. That one. Well, I'm going to take a little time, clean this up, and the ultrasonic cleaner. Boil that seat out. I'll put a new one in. Get this rebuilt. So, it's been a day. I let this soak overnight because it was... Oh, excuse me, the bowl. Because there was a brown sludge in it. It just wasn't looking good. Eventually got it clean. Happy with that now. Carb seems fine. I blew that out. I also let the jet simmer all night as well on the ultrasonic cleaner. I turned it off around like 8 o'clock at night. And so it's probably been soaking in there for at least... Oh, that's right, this was not going to go in there very easily. For at least a hour and a half. This is after I stop working. But then it stays warm for who knows how long. I mean, it's not a heated garage or anything, but it's not horrible in here. I think right now it's probably in the lower 40s in the garage, maybe high 30s. That's after a 27-degree evening. We get about a month of those. Maybe less, maybe more, just depends on the year. I am not a cold weather person though. I'm just not a fan, don't like it, never will. If it was up to me, I'd live in Florida. Maybe California. Probably Florida. Anyway, let's test it out. Looks good. Oh yeah, it's not going to seal very well without a bowl seal. When these are cold, they are not the easiest to put on. In the summertime, that just slips right on. Okay, now that's done. Let's get the jet. Put that on. The jet had a whole bunch of nasty on it. It's like basically just black all the way through. It's like a tar. Why is this not wanting to go through? I guess the threads in there are still a tad. There we go. I'm going to tighten that up. I'm going to get a socket instead of the impact. Put this on, and we will see what happens. Something I do want to point out is I let the tank drain all night at an angle. I don't know if you can see that, but there's little water droplets in there. So even though we couldn't see it before, if you have enough time, it separated itself out. I have the carb on, but I've noticed that this plug is in there. That's not the right type. And exactly what I expected. Let's take a look at why it's bad. For whatever reason, my local area doesn't have the NGK plugs, not NGK, well yeah, the NGK or the Champion, so I have this Autolite, but if you look right here, it's supposed to be the same as the RG19LM, NGK B2, and Briggs and Stratton. That's the one that you need to find. There's the model numbers on there. So this should be the same as the one that, if you looked in the manual, you would find. Do you see any difference in height here? That's pretty substantial. I mean, a little over double the height. The plug does not go directly over the piston, luckily, otherwise it'd be smashing into it. This is one that you would probably find in a overhead valve Briggs. So I'm going to be putting this one in to make sure that it actually has the correct plug. Development occurred. I do not have a cable, and the other cable that came with it is completely broken, not just rusted. So I'm going to order a cable. But I don't want to order anything if it's bad. So far I have just time, mainly, into it, and a little bit of gasoline that I can drain out later. So I'm going to hold these. I put a zip tie on here, and let us go ahead and give this a pull and see what happens. There's like no compression at all in there. And I smell gas, so it's not a fuel problem. If I had guessed, I'm assuming a valve is stuck. Let's give it a yank or two of it. Somewhere. Seems like it's getting almost no throttle. Pull that out a bit. Try it again. runs, I'm going to redo the zip tie. I'm going to run outside for a little bit, try to see if I can narrow down this. It just seems a little slow. I'm going to stretch out the spring again and do that, but yeah, this should be a good little runner. Let me go ahead and try that and then I'll bring it back. Okay, so it's about 10 minutes of running outside. Did very well actually. In the beginning it was a little chuggy, as you heard, and then after about 15 to 20 seconds cleared up pretty nicely, and about after 2 or 3 minutes after that it sounds like any other mower. So what I think happened was there was a little water or something, maybe buildup in the cylinder head, and or on the valves I should say, and just getting it running made a substantial difference. Before, while it was, after it ran about 10 minutes, I put a little Marble Mystery Oil, which you've seen in this before, just normal marble, nothing's fancy. Took the plug out, swished it all around in there, tipped it on its side, tipped on the other side briefly, very briefly, because you don't want the oil to clog the filter going through the crankcase vent. But then let it sit for about another 5 minutes, turned it on, puffed a bunch of smoke, runs like a dream now. So I'm going to change the oil, sharpen the blade. There's already a newer filter in there, new plug, you saw that, and it should be good to go. So if you, I don't want to say like every time there's no compression that it's a bad engine, because sometimes it's just like this where it just has a little bit of gunk on it and you might not even have to adjust the valves, you might not have to take the head off, just give it a few good yanks and hopefully it'll start. If it starts to chug a little bit, you're probably working a good idea, or good idea to keep working on it like that. And then once it really starts running, you should be fine. But like I said, I'm going to let this run outside for a little bit longer again, just to verify all that after I sharpen the blade, because the blade is definitely not balanced, so I want to check that as well. But yeah, should be about it. If this helped you, let me know. Leave a comment in the section below. Subscribe. Definitely put a thumbs up. That helps me a lot. I will catch you on the next one, and have a good night.